Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll meet Ray Anderson, Arizona State University's new athletic director. Also tonight, what's new with the Cactus League as spring training games are set to begin. And we'll see an art exhibit that features portraits of World War II veterans. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Nothing from the governor's office as yet regarding Senate Bill 1062. The bill gives those who deny service based on their religious beliefs protection against lawsuits. Protesters were again at the Capitol today, along with a smaller number of pro-1062 demonstrators.
We already have the law. It's already a good law. Why expand and cause this divisive hate? We need to start getting along in this state and working together. We've got too many other problems.
If you are a business owner, and you choose, according to your religious beliefs, not to do something, you have the right as a business owner to refuse service. That is America, and we should be protected.
The governor has until Saturday morning to either sign or veto the bill. If she takes no action, the bill automatically becomes law. Well, former NFL executive Ray Anderson was named ASU's new athletic director earlier this year. He replaced Steve Patterson, who took a similar position at the University of Texas. Joining us now to talk about his new job and his vision for ASU athletics is Ray Anderson. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thank you, Ted. Nice to be here.
It's good to have you here. Before we get going here, what does an athletic director do?
Well, in this day and age, apparently he or she does a lot more than in the days gone by. Certainly you want to take care of the needs of your student athletes, and you hopefully are emphasizing the student part of that component. But you have donor relationships, you have alumni relationships, you have faculty relationships, and you have business and revenue generation responsibilities, and that's become a bigger and bigger part of this modern day athletic director position.
Indeed. How do you balance the dynamic, student athletics with fundraising? You've got a stadium renovation project going big time out there. You've got an athletic district with 300 some odd acres out there. I mean, how do you balance? Where do you find that equilibrium?
Well, you better have a good teammate and good supports, which we do, and we'll get more of that as time goes on. But you can't expect to do it individually. It's got to be a collaborative team effort by folks across the university, including the folks in development, folks in sponsorship, folks in marketing, folks in academia who are supporting you, as well as the administrator in the athletic department who can keep us focused on what we're supposed to be doing for our student athletes while we're also doing all these business ventures.
And give us a status now. What is the status of the stadium project? Where are we?
We are still in discussions. We've had meetings. I've been in my first couple of meetings this week, as a matter of fact, getting briefed on where we are. There's still a ways to go, but one thing we are doing now is you're out fundraising, getting folks to participate and see the vision and be prepared to, write some checks who will help support the division, and we're off to a pretty good start in that regard.
Is there a concrete vision? Are there plans? Can you say here's what it's going to look like, or is that still to be determined?
Well, conceptually, if you go on our website, there's a piece called the Fly-Through, and it's called the Momentum. And it's a really quite impressive piece with a voiceover that talks about what the vision is and how it conceptually could look, and that's where we are. But have we gotten to the point where we actually have plans firmly on the paper right now? No, but we're getting closer to that.
Status of the athletic district. What are we talking about when we talk about this athletic district, by the way?
Well, you're talking about an opportunity to do commercial support for a lot of things university related, but primarily the athletic department. So if it's mixed use, if it's residential, if it's restaurants and establishments, if it's office space, where that development and the dollars that are generated from that can at least help support athletics and some of the other capital expenditures to benefit the university, while also benefiting the community, economic impact, bringing in jobs, and making that a more vibrant use of our land over there.
I know you've been asked this about 1,000,000 times. Let's make it 1,000,001. You are the second most powerful guy in the NFL, executive vice president of the NFL, and you left. Why?
Yeah, well, you know what? So those who say I was the second most powerful, some of my colleagues back there who do the revenue generation and would maybe argue with you. But for me, it was the opportunity to come here with a university led by a president who's got a real vision for making this an elite program. To come back to the student-athlete environment where I was fortunate enough to have been a student-athlete, played football and baseball, enjoyed the academic part of it, and be able to come back and really kind of be able to be part of that, hopefully be an impact and an influence to let these young student-athletes know that if you do it correctly, you can have success, but focus on the academic part of it. To come back to an environment where I can be part of that, that was just an unbelievable calling.
Even though, I mean, the NFL is the most powerful professional sports entity in the world, and you were very, was it getting to be a drag? You had the concussion issues, you had the official strike, you probably constantly were dealing with fines and all this. Was it getting to be a bit of a drag?
You know what, Ted, you've hit it on the head. My job over the time had evolved into really more of a dispute resolution position because of the things you're just talking about. And after a while, that does wear on you. And this gave me an opportunity to essentially be in the creative, the people relationship, the mentoring, the positive things that an institution like this brings. So this was a fresh start to be more involved in that type of things as opposed to dispute resolution all the time. That you're very perceptive there.
Well, and again, you went to Stanford, graduated from Harvard Law School. Those are very traditional schools. When you heard about ASU, when Dr. Crow talked to you about his vision of ASU, did it sound like the old-time university, or did it sound like something new was going on here?
No, something new was going on, and not new because over the last 10 dozen years, this university has really tried to rid itself of that moniker that it was a party school. And the academic standing of this university, if you take the time to really look, and I was fortunate enough to do that, has really elevated. And so the combination of saying, no, we're going to be an academic institution that also plays elite athletics, let's blend that together. That's exciting. So this isn't the party school that folks way back in the day may have thought. We're going to be an elite academic athletic institution. We've said it out loud. Coach Graham and I met this afternoon and we repeated the vow. We want to be elite. We want to be top 5, not just in athletics, but in academics with our student athletes across sports.
A school that might have recruited a Ray Anderson when he was younger, and a Ray Anderson might have looked instead of Stanford to ASU. Talk to us about, now you played football and baseball at Stanford.
I did.
But before that, and you've been an attorney, you've been a sports agent, obviously an executive with the NFL. There's a great story about you and your dad, and how your dad, he died when you were still young, but he still really shaped your life, didn't he?
Yeah, my dad unfortunately died suddenly of a heart attack when I was 9 years old. But up to that point, he and I were buddies, and he would always talk about how he had wanted to be a lawyer. Kept a couple of those thick blue and green bound law books in our den, and I would see him flipping through those. We would watch Perry Mason. Remember the old show?
Oh, sure.
You may be too young to remember.
No.
But that was a law. And I didn't really understand what a lawyer was, but I knew that my dad had always wanted to be one. And when he died, it just became my calling. I just had determined that day that I'm going to be a lawyer, even though I didn't understand what it was. But I had teachers and coaches who quickly understood that that's what I wanted to be. And so they told me and taught me about what it meant to do that. And that whole experience kind of shaped my life. But it was my father who pointed the lawyer part of my vision early in life.
Were there any times when you're stuck there in the law library and you're looking to, you have 2 more years to this and then 4 more years, were you ever thinking, gee, thanks, Dad, maybe I should try something else?
No, never vacillated.
Interesting.
Never vacillated, but there certainly was that time when I, for the first time, passed my bar exam in Georgia. And I sat up in the room after having been sworn in and thanked my dad and cried quietly as I wanted to believe that he was proud of me.
And you've done so much with your life, and you've kind of done different things. You haven't stayed in one spot too long. You're going to stay in this spot. You know, ASU athletic directors seem to want to get out of here as soon as they get good footing. What about you?
No need to worry about me. As I've said time and again, I've come from some pretty good jobs. In fact, some people think I'm a little crazy because I left a really good job. So I came here because I wanted to be here, because this was the right combination of things for me. I'm here for the duration. This is my destination, as I've said, and I expect to be here for a long time, and certainly as long as my boss, Dr. Crow, will have me.
Last question. You said that some folks thought you were crazy. Did you get a little bit of that? Like, what are you doing? Or how about the family? How'd the family take all this?
Well, you know what? My wife has seen me take a couple of crazy moves, and a lot of times I've come home and said, darling, oh, by the way, I'm taking a 50% pay cut. So she has kind of dealt with me over the years on that, but when she knows my vision, she knows my passion, she knows my love for the student-athlete environment, and she couldn't be happier, and my family couldn't be more happy for me and for us collectively to come here and really be able to make an impact and really enjoy this environment, and we're going to do it very much so.
Well, welcome to Arizona, welcome to ASU, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure, Ted. Good to meet you.
Cactus League spring training games begin tomorrow. Here now to talk about what's new this spring in the Cactus League is Cactus League President Mark Coronado. Good to see you. How you doing?
Glad to be here again.
Yes, good to have you. Now, what's new this spring? What's different this go around?
Well, I think the newest, probably most glamorous piece of the Cactus League is the Cubs facility in Mesa. You know, Mayor Smith and his crew and the City Council and Mr. Brady there did a tremendous job working with the community to get them to buy in on a $100 million facility, and that's huge. And we actually had our Cactus League lunch today, and I applauded them, because what they have accomplished has not only solidified the Cactus League, but has also brought a message to the community, and I call the community the Cactus League community. The Cactus League is valued, and if we have to make an investment to keep it, we will. And Mayor Smith and his team should be very proud of their accomplishments.
Economic impact of the Cubs in particular with this new stadium, the Cactus League in general.
The East Valley is probably responsible for about 60% of the economic impact in the Cactus League. There's no question. I mean, when you take the freeways and you divide it up, 65–70% of our hotel room nights are in the East Valley. All the resorts are in the East Valley. We're excited because the Cubs, now they have a capacity, they have the newest facilities. It's a shining, shining star, brand new, and we look for them to set some major attendance records. So we're very excited about trying to eclipse that 1.7 attendance record last year.
That's an amazing 1.7 million people. Who are these people? Who is the person who attends a Cactus League game? What do we know about them?
What we know is that 60% are coming from out of town. They're staying 5.3 nights, up from 4.7. They're spending anywhere from $350 to $650 a day here. And what's interesting about the Cactus League, and when we talk about the $700 million economic impact totality, 12 months a year, what's interesting is they just don't come to watch Cactus League ball games. Now, when you ask them what's the number one reason why you come to Arizona, it says to watch Cactus League. But they also go to the Grand Canyon, they also go to Sedona, they travel the state. It's definitely a tourism opportunity for us.
And were these folks not coming during the recession and starting to come back? How did the recession hit the Cactus League?
The recession really didn't hurt us at all.
Interesting.
No, I mean, we didn't spike, but we didn't take a big decline. The recession really helped, and there's the old adage, it's the national pastime. And if you're a baseball fan, you're a baseball fan. And the ritual of spring, I think, is in some of their bloods, and I have to tell you that it's the recession didn't hurt us, and we saw a nice spike last year as well.
Now, we've got the new Cubs Stadium. Obviously, the Diamondbacks have their facility. You got over in the west side, the Camelback Ranch with the White Sox and the Dodgers. All these facilities are fantastic. However, you got some other teams, the Brewers, the A's. Some folks are saying, are they starting to nose around a little bit, saying, what's up for us?
You know, Ted, that's our biggest challenge. During my tenure as a Cactus League president, what I've tried to trumpet the horn is that we've always been the marketing arm, the Cactus League Association. Hey, buy a ticket, buy a glass of beer, a nacho, and have a good time. But what I've tried to do and tried to provide leadership is that we have moved forward with a corporate mentality, and politically we want to be more engaged. Yesterday, we had our first legislative day ever in the Cactus League's history. It's our 68th season. And we engaged with the legislature, senators and members of the House. And it was interesting. We had over 400 people attend, staff and leaders from both sides of the aisle. And I think they're understanding that this economic impact that we have is very important to not only the tourism industry, the hospitality industry, but it's a vital, vital corporate magnet.
And with that in mind, back to some of these teams that might be wanting better facilities, what is the biggest challenge right now for the Cactus League?
The biggest challenge is paying off our existing debt. There's no question. We've made obligations to provide major renovations in Peoria and throughout the Cactus League. Actually, Surprise is due here in about 7-8 years. And we've also made, if funds are available, to pay off debt in Glendale and in Goodyear. We cannot expand until we pay off this debt. But the real, from my perspective, the real existing situation that we have on the table is renovation, the renovation of facilities. We did not receive all these teams from Florida because we were just the bright sunshine state. We gave them spanking new facilities that were state of the art. And this doesn't happen overnight. So we need to have a plan. That's why our efforts yesterday with the legislature is we know that it doesn't happen in 1 or 2 or 3 years. We're anxious to see who this new governor might be. And the Cactus League is anxious to really engage so that we have some business type of dialogue.
All right, well, very good. It sounds like things are running on all gears out there. Congratulations on that, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Art Beat looks at what has been described as the greatest generation, the men and women who served in World War II. That service and sacrifice is the focus of a new local art exhibit. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Ed Kishel give us a look at this moving tribute.
Each of these photographs has a story behind it, a story of courage, perseverance, and fortitude.
I was a fighter pilot in a P-38 Lightning, and I was in the Army Air Corps.
Bill Lancaster was a teenager when he found himself in the middle of World War II in a plane that he had never flown before. This photo shows the cockpit of the plane, hundreds of buttons, and Bill says he had no idea what many of them were for.
Well, this particular airplane was number one. It was multi-engine. It was 2 engines, and all my flying had been done in a single-engine airplane. And I got into an outfit where all they had was the twin-engine airplanes, and I had to go out and learn to fly by myself because it doesn't have one fitted out for an instructor to be in there to give me any instruction. So you had to learn to fly the thing and survive it.
That lack of training proved to be deadly. Of the 90 men Bill served with, 67 of them never came home. Even now, it's difficult for Bill to remember his time in the war and those who did not return safely to their families.
It's hard to see. I don't think anybody plays it up the bad side or knows the bad side. I had guys that went with me to combat. They came over there and went down, and the first time they got in an airplane over there and tried to get up and fly, they killed themselves.
Del Ryland was a farm boy turned fighter pilot. He joined the ROTC and soon found himself here in Arizona.
I got my wings right here at Mesa at Williams Field, went over military to Italy, and flew there 30 commissions, and the war ended.
Bill and Dell are just two of the veterans whose photographs are part of an installation at Belmont Village, an assisted living facility in Scottsdale. The nearly 24 portraits were taken by critically acclaimed photographer Thomas Sanders. What started a few years ago as a school assignment for Tom has transformed into a way to preserve these stories before they are lost for good.
My senior year of college, I had a homework assignment just to photograph a portrait of somebody. And living right around the corner from me was this big giant retirement community company. And I happened to go there asking the retirement community if there was an interesting person to photograph. And they said, hey, we have this World War II hero.
Tom's work caught the attention of Belmont's CEO, Patricia Will. She asked him to take portraits of veterans in all of their facilities.
And the reaction that we got far surpassed anything that I could have imagined. Not just because there emerged a storyline from each of these extraordinary veterans, but also because as a result of sharing their stories, often for the first time, they began to engage with one another in very different ways. Experiences that they had, often buried in their long-term memory, emerged and created a certain kind of camaraderie among them.
For Muriel Pelham, the camaraderie continues to this day. At 92 years old, she volunteers with local veterans groups. Stationed in Europe as a nurse, she spent several years there and came back stateside and continued working in various hospitals. Muriel was one of 350,000 women who served during the war.
I guess it means that I was probably helping the women to crack the ceiling, because we had a hard time in a lot of things, a lot of opportunities to advance and do other than routine care. So I was glad I was able to do that.
With 1,500 World War II veterans dying each day in America, capturing these photos and the stories is crucial, but it's more than that.
What's special about this project is that sometimes the veterans have never had the opportunity to share their stories. So with this project of photographing and interviewing the veterans are able to be honored for their first time. And I think that's something very, very special for myself and for them. In a way, I get to give back through art by preserving history.
World War II and Korean War veteran Carl Moline agrees. He has never really talked about his time aboard a destroyer in the Sea of Japan. The exhibit is a way for his family and friends to learn more.
I think that they can read the items as to what they say, what the different fellows thought about their activity, and about their period of time while they were serving. I don't want it to be lost in antiquity, so anything that can be done and said, pictured, and proofed is all to the benefit.
The veterans are all very pleased with how their photos turned out, if not a bit surprised.
Well, there's everybody else. You wonder who it was. Whose picture is it? They're never as flattering as you wish them to be, but they're factual, and that's the way it is.
Well, I was sort of surprised, frankly. I saw myself holding the picture, and of course that I recognized more than the other, because as you get older your features change, let's face it, and I am in my 90s, so I'm up there.
I'm thankful that I still have a head of hair. I guess that's the only thing of appreciation, is I still got a little hair left.
For Tom, this project brings his family history into focus. His great-uncle died in World War II, and his grandfather, a semi-famous photographer, snapped this shot of author Ernest Hemingway. It now sits in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, when I photograph the veterans, I tend to use really dramatic lighting. Some of the veterans have objects from World War II or other wars that they've hung on to like their whole entire life, and so that helps tell their story, so I have them hold that object up. And on top of that, I really try and not overly direct the veterans too much. I have them hold the object, I might have them move a little bit in terms of posing, but I don't want too much of my own idea to be projected onto them. I'm just really trying to capture their essence and their soul.
Tom's portraits are much like the men and women themselves, stark, unyielding, and stoic, with hints of vulnerability. They tell an entire life story, one that will now last forever.
The whole idea behind the project is making people more appreciative of all veterans and soldiers, and through hopefully creating an interesting artistic portrait of the veteran and reading their story, I really hope that draws them in to help put their own lives into perspective.
Tom's photos have been gathered into an award-winning book titled The Last Good War. If you'd like to see the exhibit, you can make an appointment by contacting Belmont Village in Scottsdale. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.